Poland and Ukraine, two nations bound by history's unyielding tide, entwined in the struggles of empire, the glories of defiance, and the sorrows of betrayal. Their past is a symphony of shifting borders, forgotten treaties, shared triumphs, and bitter wounds. To tell this tale is to walk the bloodied battlefields of Europe, to hear the whispers of ancient kings and revolutionaries, to feel the pulse of civilizations that rose and fell, forever shaping the destinies of these lands. From the earliest days, the lands that would become Poland and Ukraine bore the mark of powerful, warring tribes. The Kievan Rus, that first Slavic great power, stood as a beacon of Orthodox Christianity, while Poland, embracing Catholicism, cast its eyes westward. Yet despite these differences, there was no impassable chasm between them. Rather, there was an unspoken understanding. The Slavic spirit, that unbreakable will, that shared longing for sovereignty in a world ever eager to subjugate. It was Poland, rising from the mists of medieval Europe, that stretched its hand eastward, not as a conqueror alone, but as a unifier. With the Union of Lublin in 1569, Poland and Lithuania forged a commonwealth unparalleled in its grandeur. A state where Ukrainian lands became a part of a vast federation of nations. And what a nation it was! The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, an empire of nobles, poets, and warriors, stood as a bastion of liberty amidst the gathering storms of absolutism. It was a land where Polish kings were elected, where the sword and the quill carried equal weight, and where, despite tensions, Ukrainian Cossacks found both opportunity and constraint under Polish rule. But beneath the golden facade, cracks formed. The Cossacks, fiery and proud, desired freedom not within the Commonwealth, but apart from it. The Khmelnytsky uprising of 1648 was no mere rebellion. It was a wound that never quite healed, a chasm between two brothers, one seeking its own path, the other clinging to a vision of unity that was slipping away. The banners of Bohdan Khmelnytsky, drenched in the blood of both Polish nobles and peasants, signaled not just the rage of a people, but the birth pangs of a new allegiance, one that would deliver Ukraine into the hands of Muscovy. The Treaty of Pereyaslav in 1654, where the Cossacks swore fealty to the Tsar, was a tragedy of fate. For in seeking escape from Polish rule, Ukraine unwittingly invited the iron grip of Russian dominion. The Commonwealth, for all its faults, had been a realm of Latin culture, religious plurality, and noble liberties. Moscow, by contrast, was an autocratic colossus that would, in time, suffocate the very spirit of Ukraine. Yet history, like the Vistula and the Dnieper, is a river that never truly stops flowing. As Poland waned, its body carved apart by foreign hands in the late 18th century, Ukraine found itself divided between new masters. To the west, Habsburg Galicia became a peculiar refuge where Polish and Ukrainian cultures, despite tensions, coexisted under Vienna's cautious eye. To the east, under Russian rule, Ukraine suffered the brutal weight of imperial censorship and forced assimilation, a warning of the fate Poland itself would soon endure. The 19th and early 20th centuries saw these lands burn with the fire of revolution and national awakening. Poland, though erased from the map, was never erased from the hearts of its people, and Ukraine, caught in the throes of shifting loyalties, saw its own dream of independence flicker and fade like a candle in the wind. The Polish-Soviet War of 1919 to 1921 brought yet another twist of fate. Poland, reborn, faced the Red Army onslaught, and in a feat of heroism, known as the Miracle on the Vistula, repelled it, securing its own sovereignty and a brief moment of partnership with the fledgling Ukrainian forces under Simon Petlura. But it was not enough. The dream of a free Ukraine crumbled beneath the relentless Soviet tide, just as Poland, 2 decades later, would be carved apart once more. The Second World War was a cataclysm that left no room for sentiment. The Polish-Ukrainian divide, already deepened by centuries of grievances, erupted into horror. The Volhynian massacres of 1943 to 44, where Ukrainian nationalists butchered Polish civilians in a frenzy of ethnic cleansing, remain a scar upon the conscience of both nations. Yet this too was but a cruel echo of the greater tragedy, the occupation and destruction of both Poland and Ukraine at the hands of the twin devils of the 20th century, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. When the war ended, Poland was shifted westward, amputated from Lwów, Lviv, And Ukraine, swallowed entirely by the Soviet Leviathan, saw its culture suppressed, its language beaten into silence, its people starved in the Holodomor, a genocide engineered by Stalin's unholy designs. But tyrannies do not last forever. When the iron grip of communism finally weakened, Poland, ever the resilient phoenix, was the first to break its chains, inspiring others to follow. Ukraine, in 1991, seized its long-awaited independence, but the shadow of Moscow never truly lifted. Even now, Ukraine fights once more to define itself, to stand against the very empire that has sought to consume it for centuries. And Poland, steadfast and unyielding, stands as an ally, as a reminder that though history may divide, it also teaches. It teaches that freedom is never given, it is taken. That the bonds of nations, no matter how strained, are never truly severed. That Poland and Ukraine, for all their wounds, share not just a history, but a destiny. For history is not merely the past, it is the foundation of what is yet to come. And in the embers of old wars, in the echoes of old alliances, there lies the possibility of a future where these two nations, bound by sorrow and by strength, may yet stand together against the storms that would see them fall. Dziękuję. Like and subscribe for good fortunes.